So for the last month or so, I've been asking you guys on YouTube and on Instagram about your solo camping fears. What things are there about solo camping that give you pause, that make you maybe not as gung-ho about it as you otherwise would be? And so this video will be addressing some of those fears. I'm gonna put my sunglasses on because I'm hiking right into the sun here. But I got a lot of responses from you guys, and almost all of them could be broken down into 6 or 7 categories, and I've actually covered one of those major fears before, and that is bears. I made a video all about camping in bear country, so I will link that in the video description below. I'm actually going to be mentioning several videos and other things that I'll be linking to throughout this video, and you can find all of those in the description of the video on YouTube. So bears was one big fear. Another fear was other animals like mountain lions and coyotes and snakes and scorpions and spiders and ticks and all of those things. And I will actually make a separate video about those in the future. And so that left, I think, 5 or maybe 6 topics that you guys wanted me to cover, and I'm going to talk about those in this video. Apart from bears, the overwhelming majority of you said that other people were your biggest fear. And let me read exactly some quotes from what you said. Got my note sheet here. You said you feared intruders of the 2-legged variety, creepers, weirdos, serial killers, being stalked / followed / harassed. You were afraid of people looking through the windows. You were afraid of break-ins. And specifically, a lot of the women out there were afraid of being a solo female and traveling as a solo female. So let me cover, I guess, the easiest one of those first, the fear of someone looking in through your car and seeing you when you're camped inside of it. And I should say that this video is mostly about solo car camping, so either camping in a car, SUV, truck, van, whatever it might be, even, you know, an RV, sleeping inside of a vehicle. That's the focus of my channel, and so that's what the focus of this video is going to be. And so to fix the problem of people looking in, I've made a video about window coverings before. You can use Reflectix, you can use curtains, you can get cardboard or poster board or even foam board and cut it to size, stick it in your windows. I'll put a link to that video that I've made in the description. And then I do want to touch on the whole serial killer, crazy person, meth head side of things. And I want to be sensitive here because I know that some people have had serious issues with this kind of thing. I know that some of you have had unpleasant encounters when you're out camping. For me personally, I never have. And I think that this is a fear that is made bigger than it needs to be made by a lot of people. The majority of other campers out there, they're not serial killers, they're not crazy. They're other people like you who want to escape and enjoy some peace and quiet or a good time out in the wilderness. And that's been my experience. I've never once had a weird or crazy encounter with someone in the hundreds of nights that I've spent camping. And again, I can only speak to my experiences, which are camping in national forests and on BLM land, public lands in the western United States. And really, I just don't think it's an issue for the vast majority of people. Now, for women who have the fear of camping alone, for fear of meeting a creeper of some sort, you know, again, it's hard for me to talk about this because I haven't had experiences that you've had that have made you wary, but from my perspective, from my point of view, I would have no problem with my wife camping on her own anywhere that I camp. Again, I just don't think it's an issue. I mean, bad things do happen to people, and like I said, some of them have happened to, I know, some people who are watching this video, but the chances of it happening to you, of something bad happening to you, are just so small that for me, they just don't even register, really. But there are things you can do to set yourself up for success and give you peace of mind, put you at ease. Now, there are really 2 schools of thought here. There are people who think that there is safety in numbers, and so they want to camp around other people. And then there are people who think people are the problem, and I don't want to camp around other people. I want to camp far away from other people. My thoughts are that if you do have a fear of something bad happening to you caused by other people, then you should probably camp away from other people. And a good way to do this is to find campsites on your own. Don't go to freecampsites.net. Don't look at the apps. Pull out your atlas, find public lands on your own, and find places to camp on your own. Then you're less likely to have other people around you when you're camping. All right, glasses are coming off. I'm gonna put the hat on here. Bear with me. Okay, and when you are looking for a campsite, it's always a good idea to drive kind of the full length of an area, explore an area before you settle on a place to camp. If you're driving along a canyon, for example, and you're looking for a place to camp, there's a good chance that there will be other people camped in the canyon. So it's a good idea to keep driving through the length of the canyon to see where they're camped, what the camps look like. Do they seem like sketchy people for whatever reason to you? If so, keep driving and either camp far away from those people or give it up entirely and just go to a different canyon, find a different area to camp in. I think that people in general overestimate how difficult it is to find campsites. If you feel uneasy for whatever reason, either when you're looking for a campsite or once you're already at a campsite and you just have a bad feeling, or if someone comes walking over to talk to you and you feel a bit uncomfortable, then leave. Even if it's getting dark and you have to find another place to camp in the dark, that's not a big deal. Just go, drive back to civilization, park off the road somewhere and camp that way. It's better than being uncomfortable all night and wondering what is out there or who is out there and what they could do to you. But once you do have a campsite, there are several things you can do to be more comfortable, to be safer, I guess you could say. I always like to park my car in the campsite so that it's facing out, so that it's facing the main dirt road that I drove in on, so that if I need to, I can easily get out of there. I don't need to do a 20-point turn to exit the campsite. And so also along those lines, if you're sleeping in your car, like if you're sleeping in the back of your car, for example, in my RAV4, I always try to keep a clear path between the back where I sleep and the front driver's seat. I try to keep the driver's seat free of stuff, like don't put your cooler there if you can avoid it. Don't put bags or bins on your driver's seat. Try to keep that clear and have a good way to get from the back of your car where you're sleeping to the front of the car. Have your keys somewhere easily accessible. I always hang mine in the same spot in my car, so I know exactly where they are at all times. Even in the dark, I could easily grab the keys and go. We talked about covering your windows. I found that even when there's no one around, covering my windows just makes me feel comfortable, makes me feel more cozy and cocooned and insulated and safer. Even when I know no one's going to be around, it just gives me peace of mind to keep all the windows covered. You're going to want to keep your doors locked at night, just so anyone passing by can't come in and get you if they wanted to. Now let's talk about weapons. Is it a good idea to have a weapon? Should you have one? It couldn't hurt, right? Even if nothing bad ever happens to you, it couldn't hurt to have a weapon. And so whether that be something like a gun, if you know how to use it and are comfortable using it and you're allowed to have one and take it with you when you travel, or like a machete or a knife or mace or bear spray or a baseball bat or a club, anything, a hammer, an axe, whatever. I think that kind of thing is useful mostly for peace of mind, make you feel better, give you more confidence. The chances of you needing to use it are super low, but if it makes you feel better, then go for it. And if you're feeling uneasy, then always have it with you. While you're outside of your vehicle, if you're cooking a meal or just hanging out, then have that baseball bat within reach. Don't keep it in your car, and vice versa. Don't keep it outside if you're getting ready to sleep. A big thing you should do for your safety is to tell people where you're going, tell people when you expect to be back, give people a copy of your itinerary, tell them when you expect to check in with them again. I know a lot of people are concerned about not having phone reception in different places, And if you're really concerned about that, I mean, there are a lot of places, beautiful, interesting places to see, lots of things to do, where you do have a phone service. Maybe not necessarily in like the backcountry of Yellowstone National Park, but you know, if you're in a place that's not too far, that's reasonably close to a population center of whatever kind, then there's a good chance you'll have phone reception. If you travel a lot, then one thing you can do is optimize your carrier for better reception. So if you are if you're going into remote areas a lot, maybe ditch a carrier like T-Mobile here in the US and go for a carrier like Verizon. Based on my travels and what I've heard people say, T-Mobile is good in the cities, but once you get outside of the cities, it's less good, whereas Verizon has much better true nationwide coverage. And it looks like we're already at double-digit minutes here in this video, and I wanted to keep this around 10 or 12 minutes, and so I'm gonna end this here and continue this series of camping fears, solo camping fears. Let me know if you have any questions about solo camping with regards to other people. What's a fear that you have, and how have you overcome that fear? What are some other ways people can overcome that fear other than what I mentioned? But again, I just kind of wanted to reiterate that this is not something that you need to be worrying about for the most part. You're gonna have a great time, you're gonna have a good experience. Do it in small doses first to get used to the idea of being alone. Give yourself an easy out, an easy way to abort the mission if you want to, if you feel uncomfortable for whatever reason. Always be ready and willing to just leave camp quickly if you need to. I think that's one of the main takeaways here. So thanks for watching. Hope that was helpful. Again, I'm going to continue this series with future videos interspersed with some other adventure type of videos. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in the next one.